Hello everybody, Defense here, and welcome to our server. I say server. It's not a server. Our single player world. We're here to do a bit of tree clearing to make room for the rest of Lone Tree Corral. I'm pretty much going to clear out a bunch of the trees on the backside, maybe work on the stairs, and honestly a boatload of decoration. Those are kind of where I'm at with that. But I want to start off by, I want to try and get my axe taken care of. Oh, that's really loud. One sec. Alright, we're back. Sorry, I didn't adjust stuff on my end. And we're in version 1.6.4, for those who may not know. And the thing with 1.6.4, it does not like to be minimized or put into windowed and made a smaller screen. And then it doesn't like coming back. So, there's a lot of quirks to old Minecraft. One of them is this, obviously. Ooh, actually, can we see anything good? I actually just found, at the end of last episode, I found a zombie spawner over there because of these chunk render errors. So, lots of different stuff going on. But yeah, I really want to get a bunch of trees chopped down for this stream. Next stream, I want to kind of get started on our roads because kind of walking and jumping around like this is getting a little annoying, and now that we're starting to spread out, we're definitely going to need more stuff. But we're going to get at it. I'm going to swing down. I should have a spare sword downstairs. Yeah, we're going to swing down. We're going to try and get a little bit of XP whilst we're working on some stuff down here real quick, and then we're going to get on with that. I want to get enough levels to at least get my axe enchanted, hopefully with at least unbreaking. That's another big change I forgot about when it came back to playing earlier Minecraft is it takes 30 levels to enchant any item. You also don't get to really see the enchants, which I've been told is better because it used to cost 50 levels, which I did not know. So I didn't start playing until like 1.5, 1.6, and I was on console, so everything was even a bit different there compared to here. So, it's all a little crazy. We're going to make an actual path over to this place at some point. Most of you guys probably haven't seen me traveling this way in the videos, but this is kind of how we have to get to our farm at the moment. We do need to make some upgrades. Alright. But yeah, I also want to make the place look neater. It is kind of a mess. Which actually, we can kind of start on that. So whilst we're waiting for the spiders, actually me going over here is going to negate spider spawns, but let's just grab some bits, and that way we can kind of get some work done whilst we're waiting. Make everything look a bit better. There we go. Because even just having this pickaxe has been so much better. So I want to get everything else kind of up to date soon. Oh, I can hear a spider already. Now, let's see. Hello, buddies. 1 and 2. Did any get stuck? Nah, so it looks like we only got 2. But yeah, that's a lot of, like, a lot of extra stuff around here. So let me get some of this going. While we're working, we'll see more and more slide by. This was a farm that I thought would work a specific way, and then it didn't, so I had to modify it, and then I had to modify it, and then I had to modify it. So it does have a few changes. I do have to be careful because they can still get you through certain blocks. So we do have to be pretty careful. Yep, that one's gonna stay. Okay, there we go. I was just trying to figure out where my cutoff was. But yeah, there's a lot of other changes we gotta make. We're gonna have to like shut it down for a bit and do a few waterway changes because they get stuck in a couple of spots, like right back here where they rise up the stairs. They get stuck there every once in a while. Causes a couple of issues, but I think we should be able to grind out 30 levels pretty quick. These are the larger XP dropping mobs early on, so this is honestly the better option when it comes to starting, from what I remember. But I have found a skeleton spawner and a zombie spawner, so we'll probably play around with those soon. The skeleton, they're just easier to work with, and we can one-hit them. We can make a crusher for this, I just haven't. But I think we're going to end up doing that. See what I mean? I'm pretty sure that there's some stuck back there. Nope, they're just coming through slowly. But yeah, so you can make a crusher to soften these guys, but right now they're a 2-hit with my iron sword. So like it's not a huge deal. But I know with the skeletons, we can make them a 1-hit with our fists, so a couple of different, you know, different bits there. But let's get this done. We are going to eventually decorate this up a lot better. But for now, we're just going to live with stone. Bonk. And this is just my peek to make sure everything's moving right. It does cause problems, though. So I think I'm going to try and cover it from this side. That way, we don't have to deal with it. Put a little space up here. Bonk. There we go. Yeah, because pretty much anywhere in here it'll spawn. I just kind of had this because I think this is the farthest away I can be. So I could roll these closer. But I have them sent all the way out and back so that the way they're outside of the stuff. Hey, good afternoon. Afternoon for you. For me, it's 8:45 in the morning. Don't get me wrong, I have been up for over 3 hours, but I'm supposed to work today, but I didn't because I have to go take care of some stuff. There's some secret stuff involved. Right, so that happens a ton in this version of Minecraft. I thought, so don't get me wrong, my original farm was broken, but I thought it was broken even before that because these guys will just glitch through stuff and then pop out, and I was like, but like it's happened to me so many times. I've just kind of gotten used to it. Yeah. But yeah, how you doing, buddy? We are mainly going to be chopping trees today, but I want to get at least a little bit of XP on my tools here real quick. Yoink. Because enchanting is weird. Good to hear, my dude. Good to hear. Alright, 10 more levels, then we can go enchant our axe and hopefully get something good. Because with how different everything is in this, and the fact that I never did villager trading back when I first started playing this game, I genuinely have no idea what they will be like for this version of Minecraft. So, I'm going to have to play around with them at some point. But yeah. I'm enjoying it, though. This has been a blast. So this has been a series in the making for... Hell, I talked about doing this years ago now. I remember I talked to Sean. Me and Sean were actually talking about doing this as like a co-op series years ago. And obviously a bunch of stuff came up. World's changed since then, and the two of us just never got around to doing it. And I decided recently that I wanted to. So I kind of just hopped back into it. So I hopped back to the earliest version of Minecraft that I still have access to, that I remember playing. So I cannot for the life of me remember if I was originally on 1.5 or 1.6 when I started playing. I just still have my original world, but it's on console. I am going to be doing a world tour of that pretty soon. I'm probably going to try and get it out for next week. I still haven't recorded next week's episode on this world, so, you know, we'll play it by ear. It's kind of how things have been lately. Did we get any stuck back there? On Java, my first world was 1.12. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, mine was either 1.5, late 1.5, or early 1.6. I'm going to go with, I'm pretty sure it was 1.5, because I know the first server I hopped on, they called it Fort Rainbow Pony, because horses were just added to the game, so they made a giant stained glass horse. But no, stained glass wasn't added until later. Unless I'm remembering incorrectly. I don't know. I'm going to have to think a little bit more on that. I may have started in 1.6. But again, console was still different. Stained glass was 1.8. So, yeah. So I definitely started in 1.6 then. Because the first server I was on had stained glass. And that was a little while after I started. Because I'm trying to think. So I quit Radio Shack in February. And that's when I started playing. And I joined those guys, I want to say June, July, or August. And then I started streaming in September. Yeah, so whatever version was on console February 10 years ago. You know, this farm's usually much faster than this. Are they getting clogged somewhere? They gotta be getting clogged somewhere. I have a lot of bends, and I know that's been causing some issues. There are other versions of this farm, but finding... Ow! Yeah, see, they can get you through a whole block, so you gotta be careful. But yeah, finding old versions of farms right now is really hard. Like, the videos of them. So I keep kind of doing my thing. Searching a lot to find some old farm setups, but, you know. Sorry, it was 1.7.2. You're all good, my dude. You're all good. So, yeah, that means I probably started at 1.6 then. Still. But, like, when I first started... So, there were so many things I didn't know about this game when I first started. I quit because of creepers. I was done with it. I was done. I did not like it. I hated it. They just caused so many problems. And they just kept killing me. Because I had no idea what they were. Or how to deal with them. On console. And then I remember at some point I had built my whole, like, original starter area. And then I had decided, like, the update had come out, so I was like, oh, I'm going to travel over here and just build a whole new base using some of the new stuff. And moved over and did that. And nearby was a village. And I literally called my friend. I was like, hey, how did someone access my world and build all this stuff? Because, like, I didn't watch YouTube then. Like, yeah, don't run the occasional funny video a friend had shown me, but, like, YouTube wasn't a big thing for, you know, when I first got into this, you know, and I was just like, hey, what is this and who's building in my world? Because, like, and so, like, that friend and another friend were building in my world, but, like, I knew where they were building, you know? And I was just so confused. I was like, the hell is this? And it was my first village I ever found. It was actually kind of funny. But yeah, so that was my first experience with that. I was told about diamonds and I found coal and I was like, oh, that means I should find diamonds. And my buddy's like, nah, dude, you gotta go deep for diamonds. Oh, it's actually kind of sad. I don't talk to that guy anymore. We even used to work together for like 6 years. Who knows? I'm gonna grab a quick drink. 1 sec. Wait for some more spiders. See, I thought the spiders used to be able to stack better in here. And I can only get a couple at a time. I might open up this edge here so that they can go 3 spread. But I kind of don't want to at the same time. I just want to see if they're getting clogged. Nah, because every once in a while they get stuck on the stairs back there. But yeah, I'm super happy with this world. I don't know how many of you have been watching um, the series at all, but I'm about 3 episodes deep. It's been a blast. I'm relearning things that I completely forgot about Minecraft. Learning things that I'm happy that they changed. You know, the game has made it a lot easier for things to be done. Yeah, the modern game is a lot different. I like that we don't need 30 levels for a single enchant anymore. Honestly, enchanting is, in my opinion, the best change. Obviously, world rendering, world rendering and loading and chunk loading and rendering and all that. That is great, but that's like back end stuff. But honestly, enchanting, out of everything I can think of, enchanting has been, yeah. Have you been watching the Life series? I think I have on your channel, because I'm watching like 3. I think I'm watching 2 or 3 different Life series right now, and I'm trying to remember. I'll have to double check. Because I know I've been watching your single player series and your... Oh, no. Honestly, I haven't... Honestly, I don't think I've watched anything Hermit related in a long while. Nothing against them. I haven't, when it comes to me watching YouTube as of late, it's been a very different pool of people I watch, to be honest. I don't know. I just really haven't watched it because the people I liked watching don't really post as often anymore. Like I think Tango's done like 10 episodes on the server. I really enjoyed watching him. Obviously, I know the whole Iskall situation. I liked watching him on the server. Stress, But yeah, honestly, I've been watching a lot more. I hate to call people small, because like I'm still minuscule, but like a lot of these people still call themselves small creators. But like I've been watching a lot more a couple more of the people on the TCA, TSA, TCS. What's your server called? I'm drawing a blank, because you guys just did your first episode. I've been watching a couple more creators off of there. I've been watching a couple off of EchoCraft, which is where Gem is. TCA. Okay, that's what I thought. Because TSA is airport security here in the U.S. But yeah, I've been watching a lot more just, different creators and the such. So I've been enjoying that. But then at the same time, like I've just been watching like a boatload of other content. A majority of my stuff is cooking shows. I've been cooking a whole ton now so it's been a long time since I've done a stream. I own a house. Well, the bank owns the house, but I live here and pay them. So I have a whole kitchen. So I do a lot more cooking now. So I find myself watching a large amount of like home remodeling and cooking shows. Because one, we're redoing our house. We bought an 1887 farmhouse. Honestly, it's in very good condition. It needs some stuff here or there. There's a lot of really old stuff in here that needs to be adjusted and changed. But we'll kind of, we're getting to stuff as we go, So I've been watching a large amount of that stuff. I love cooking, and I've been able to actually, like, effectively start cooking again. And when I first moved in, I was doing a ton. And then the girlfriend moved in, and she got out of work earlier than me, so she started doing a lot of the cooking. And I was very sad, because I didn't get to cook anymore. But now she is working a different job, which gets home later than me, so now I'm back on all the cooking, and I've loved it. So, like, this week... Hell, just this week alone, yesterday we just did leftovers, so yesterday was Wednesday. So tonight we're doing lamb chops, corn, and I can't remember what else I'm doing. I have it all written down. I've got like some recipes and different bits there that I'm working on. But yesterday, obviously we did leftovers. Day before, what did we do? We did spaghetti meatballs with homemade meatballs, homemade sauce. I did not do homemade spaghetti just because we had a boatload of spaghetti already. And then the day before, we did chicken broccoli Alfredo with homemade Alfredo sauce. Same thing, didn't make the pasta just because we've got a boatload of pasta already. And then what did we do? Oh, we did homemade pizzas the night before that. That was actually very fun. We haven't done that in a long time. That used to be like a date night activity for the two of us, so we could like hang out and do stuff. Even before we even moved in together. Give me something good. Yeah. I want it on breaking, but I'll take it. Alright, to the top. But yeah, I've been enjoying it. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not wild or anything like that, but I really like making different stuff. I like cooking. Like, hell, last night for my leftovers. So one of the things we like to do is we just call it, it's a kielbasa sheet pan kielbasa. And obviously the main part is kielbasa chopped up, thrown on a sheet pan. And then we add different stuff to it. Like, normally it's potato or sweet potato. We've been doing a lot of sweet potato lately. And then, we'll usually add something else, but like this time we just didn't. So it's just sweet potato and kielbasa, and we put it on some rice to kind of change it up. Because normally we'll do like broccoli or cauliflower or green beans, just to add something else to it. So, but we did that recently, and because I had that, the rice, and some spaghetti, I made pretty much just like a simple no egg fried rice last night out of the leftovers, and it was fantastic. You know, we had soy sauce, garlic, chili oil. Obviously the sweet potato was in there. So honestly, it tasted kind of like a dry ramen bibimbap, if I'm honest. So it was like a Korean Japanese fusion, and it was fantastic. I'm a measure with my heart kind of guy. That's why I cook and don't bake. Because you can kind of get away with it in baking, but not really. So you gotta kind of be careful. But yeah, I very much enjoy it, and I've been having a great time being able to cook again. Even if it's something simple, like, you know, hell, yeah, so I said, I think tomorrow we're literally just, like, throwing down a frozen pizza. So this week was don't buy anything, only use what we have in the house. And I honestly don't think we've bought anything. So I think we're doing pretty good for that. I think we're going food shopping on Saturday. So we've made it the whole week and had, like, honestly really good meals without going out and buying anything. You know, because, like, don't get me wrong, yeah, we got some stuff at the farmer's market this weekend, but that was before we planned this. So we kind of just had it in the fridge already. But yeah, having my own place has been fantastic. I have a whole office. Like, I'm gonna have to give you guys a tour at some point of the house once we get, like, a bunch more of the work done. I have been, you know, posting a little bit about it on my, so I have two Instagrams. I have my gaming Instagram, and then I have my kind of like real life / woodworking / the rest of stuff channel, you know, for Instagram. And I've been posting some of the house stuff on there and some of my adventures and such, so it's been really fun. So if you guys want to see some of the house stuff, it'll be over there. I'll try and find a way to link it. I know my gaming account is obviously Defense041. Actually, what is... I don't actually remember. I gotta check. 1 second. Oh, D's Woodsmithing. Because it was my woodworking stuff. So... yeah, if you guys want to check that out. It's got a bunch of my old woodworking stuff on there. It's got a bunch of just new house-related stuff, different adventures, you know, that have been going on. So that one's more of a day in the life of channel now, or page now. So, but speaking of the gaming Instagram, I've been posting a bunch of old screenshots on there, which has been honestly really fun because I've gotten to, like, explore a lot of old stuff. So one of the first, so I think it's actually the third post on the third screenshot in my screenshots folder, because at one point I lost everything on my hard drives, so it happens. But the third picture in there is of me and my buddy Sean conquering our first Guardian Temple together back on, I think it was the Planecraft server, Season 2. And yeah, we're just sitting there wearing Guardian heads, just kind of having a good time. It was fun. And again, Minecraft was even so different then compared to now, you know? But yeah, like, you know, I met them over there. I met you because you used to watch a bunch of the people on there. And then you joined for one of the final seasons. Actually, I think you joined for the second to last season, and I wasn't there for the last season. Or something like that, I can't remember. And then we joined another server together. I've been on a lot of servers over the years. So obviously, there was, you know, my server that I had with me and my friends where we just played Minecraft and had no idea what I was doing. And then there was Fort Rainbow Pony. And then what else do we have? So after Fort Rainbow Pony, I think we created the Quadcraft server, which was my first PC server, like on PC instead of on console. And then I think we ran that for, I think it was just one season. And then real life caught up with a lot of people. And then that's when I joined Planecraft. I did that for 2 seasons? 1.5 seasons? And then Guardians. Guardians was a blast. So that was probably my favorite server build was on there. I think it really pulled me into what I like to do as a creator. I think that my D's World Season 1 kind of started that trend for me, you know, building the villages up and stuff like that. And I ended up really enjoying that to the point where I ended up doing that on the server, but did like a Minecraft inspired thing. Oop, hold on, I'm getting a phone call. One sec. I'm back. Had to answer my phone call. But yeah, what do we got? Yeah, Guardians was a blast. And honestly, like, as much, so don't get me wrong, I enjoyed, honestly, I don't think there was a single person on there that I didn't like. I really enjoyed everybody that I hung around with on there. But my favorite crew, you know, and again, this is nothing against anybody else, but my favorite crew were Sean and Jem. The GDS thing was a blast. I even talked about that in one of the screenshots that I posted recently. Like, don't get me wrong, yeah, I enjoyed, you know, chilling with different groups on you know, prior servers and stuff like that. And, you know, everyone always had their little factions. But, like, that was probably my favorite. You know, and it's been a blast, and I loved it. Just some of the stuff we did, the derpy little videos. Like, my favorite is our business meeting. Like, the 3 of us have a business meeting, and, like, we're talking about stocks, and Jem, I think it was Jem, made, like, banners, and it was fantastic, you know. And it was one of the best times that I'd had in a group setting, you know, for you know, like a faction. And I hope to be able to do that someday. Between the house and work and stuff like that, servers are not an option right now, because I kind of just squeeze in stuff where I can. So, like, I probably wasn't going to be able to stream this week, but I'm not working this morning, so I can, you know. And I was just like, you know what, like, and I was just going to start recording, and I was just like, no, I've got to chop down like a bunch of trees. You know, like, I might as well just hop on the server, you know, hop on the world and just start chopping trees in a live stream. And then I spent 40 minutes setting up a live stream because all of my stuff had been logged out because it's been so long since I live streamed and I couldn't remember how to set up a live stream on YouTube. And then I had to set up all my OBS stuff. So, yeah, it's not all set up though, so I can do it going forward. But I forgot all of that stuff. You know, there's so much stuff you don't think about. You know, because like when it comes to streaming, I literally hop on, I open 2 programs and push a button. You know, my streams are almost set up to that now. I'm gonna have to do some back end work later to kind of, you know, make it so that is my constant. But I think for now everything's doing pretty solid on that. Yeah, GDS versus Liam Co. That was fun. I loved my ship. Like my starter base was a giant floating ship, you know, flying in the sky with this gigantic air balloon above it, which I still never liked the shape of and would adjust it all the time to try and get it to something I enjoyed. I fought that thing for the whole season. And then I had mini ones and it was a blast. The mountainside, oh, don't get me started on my mountainside. I loved that project. We had huge plans, the 3 of us, because GDS, we ended up living on pretty much, so like I lived on the mountain, Sean was working on a hole in the mountain, and then Jem lived in the valley below. So like we were all right by each other in that season, you know, and we built some wild stuff. And then I'm trying to remember the other bases. Oh yeah, you had that little one that was in like the box canyon. Yeah, you had the town over there. Over in the little box canyon. That was really cool. I'm trying to remember. I remember the giant sign we built. Oh, that was fun. We built, early on, we came across somebody else's base, and there was a little sign, and we built a bigger sign later on. That was fun. The shopping district was cool. I really enjoyed that. That game Gem had made, like the Skydrop or whatever it was. That was fun. I think you and I, or was it, I don't know. It was either you and I or me and Sean did that little, like, battle arena. That was fun. This tree's deep underground. Yeah, but yeah, I built all this in remnants of our, you know, my old gigantic walls. But this was so much, so like this would have taken no time at all in modern Minecraft. You know, I probably would have been a couple of hours to do all of this in modern Minecraft, between the way enchanting's done, mending, all that. This took me a whole day. You know, legitimately a whole day to do. And I'm not kidding. I mean, 8 or 9 hours. Because everything is just so different back here. You know, but I loved it. I had a blast the whole 8 or 9 hours. I loved it. Also, one thing I didn't notice until recently, because I was going around early game trying to, you know, get some food. They don't drop mutton in 1.6. They only drop wool. So I've pretty much just stopped killing sheep because I can just shear them instead. Obviously, I killed that one as an example, but like, sheep don't drop mutton. I don't remember when version that was added. I want to say it was like 1.10 or 1.9 or something like that, but, or it may have even been the combat update, and, you know, so they gave more food sources, but yeah. But yeah, I'm so happy to be playing this game again. I enjoy the hell out of it. And I've really been enjoying, you know, what I've been doing so far in this world. You know, we've got our own little, like, you know, pretty much an island, you know, small continent. Because World Gen was done very differently back in the day. I think, not next, I think 1.8, no, it might have been 1.7 is when they fixed that. I'm trying to remember. Or when they changed it. I shouldn't say fixed it, because it wasn't, like, broken. It was just different. So, but I think that gets changed in either 1.7 or 1.8. Whichever one added mesas. I know that added a big change to World Gen. I also apologize. My dog is sleeping on the chair behind me. You may hear her snoring. She can get very loud. Right now, they're little snores, but she'll sound like a pig with sleep apnea, you know? Bonk. I'm trying to keep the rando trees. I'll have to trim them a little bushwise once we get going, but I want to keep them around. I think that's a majority of the edge. I was just trying to wrap around the edge. This is cool. I kind of want to turn this into like a meteor strike. I want to build like a big meteor up here. Oh yeah, I'll definitely be updating my world. So pretty much my goal is, like, it'll be different on different updates. But for example, like this one, I just kind of wanted to get a start, have a little bit of fun, play some episodes. And the biggest change in this version was carpets and horses. So you were able to make carpets for the first time, and you were able to find, you know, horses were introduced in their entirety. You know, you could, you know, find them, tame them, breed them. And that's why, like, the focus right now is on this, you know, a horse corral, you know, the testing area. I got the speed track, I got the jump track. Obviously the heart test you can just see with your eyes. But I think once I'm happy with this area, I'll probably move on to, you know, the next version of Minecraft, you know, a stable 1.7. And that's kind of how it's gonna go. At least that's my plan right now. The other times is like, for the ones where there's not like a huge quantifiable, like visible update of stuff to do, I may do it a little differently. But starting, you know, like for this, it's horses and carpets. Like, yeah, I might decorate with some carpets at some point, but like the main focus on this update was horses. So I'm going to play around with it, have some fun, get some horses up and going, you know, and then move on from there. And then after that, you know, because what's the next version? I'm trying to remember what 1.7 adds. But yeah, I'll go into 1.7, have some fun with that, and I think I'm going to try and save exploring until I get to the newer World Gen update kind of versions. And I can always, like, cut chunks out of my world, because, like, right now, the only thing I need from outside the world is villagers. And I actually, you know, was very lucky when I found this place, because, so I'm going to hop in here, because obviously if you haven't seen the episodes, you don't know this. But, so I stumbled upon this. I came in on a boat, honestly probably right over here-ish, and kind of just walked through this whole swamp, hoping and praying there was a witch hut. There wasn't. Spoiler alert. I found like 3 or 4 swamps, never found a witch hut. So, but one thing I found out later on when I was showing off an early exploit that you have access to in early versions of Minecraft is, because we didn't have spectator, that's the only reason I know about this, is you could sit in a minecart with your head inside a redstone block, and it would let you see through walls. And while I was doing that, you know, showing that off, I found a spawner. But I also found off over here, I actually don't want to ride over there, but over underneath that little section of swamp, the end portal. Literally right over there. End portal. Done. Game, set, match. You know? So, like, I don't have to travel around my world much. So, I think, which is a good thing, because I don't have to, like, find stuff that I really like and then watch it get destroyed when the World Gen changes in multiple updates over the future. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be, so I think I'm going to hold back. There's stuff that I'll probably go and explore, but like, I'm probably going to just go and delete those chunks at some point. So I'm not, you know, too worried about it. But for now, I'm going to kind of hold exploring to a minimum. I'm going to get, you know, obviously I'll find a fortress in the nether, and I'll find a village. I'll pull the villagers because I don't need the village. I just need the villagers. And we'll kind of go from there. And that's really it there, you know. But the rest of the world, like, I went around looking for horses. You know, I got me some horses, or a horse, because it took me, I don't know, like an hour of searching to find a horse. And there were only 2 of them, and one was a baby, so, like, I couldn't take it. Because I don't know if leads are a thing yet. You know? I genuinely don't know. But it's, you know, just the exploration of trying to figure out how to do things without different blocks. So, like, for example, the starting gate on the horse thing, I had to try and do redstone. Obviously, I never did any, I don't think I did any redstone back when I first started playing until, like, 1.7, 1.8 kind of deal. But yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. And the stuff that I knew what I was doing, you know, from more modern, you know, styles of Minecraft, doesn't work because half the blocks don't exist. So, like, I wanted a pressure plate to activate 3 fence gates. And in early versions of Minecraft, you have to do a lot of, not a lot of work, but, like, comparatively, you know, like, it was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be to just get 3 fence gates to open off of 1 pressure plate. So it's been fun trying to deal with that. I completely forgot about the enchanting thing, which was really sad because I was like, I've got like 40 levels. This would be great. I can get, you know, a start on my kit. No, that's not how it works. It's 30 per enchantment. But then it was after that Sean told me that it used to be 50 per enchantment back in the day. And I was like, yeah, no, thank you. I was like, I don't need that. That's way too expensive. So, but yeah, and like I'm probably gonna build a early iron farm and then probably destroy it at some point and build new iron farms. So, but I want areas of my world to have purpose, to have reason to come back. Oh yeah, it used to be 50 levels. Sean was telling me to enchant. So there's been a lot of updates to enchanting, I guess, over the 2.5 decade. No, 2 decades? Minecraft's 15. Yeah, so decade and a half. I don't know why I thought Minecraft was 25. I don't remember actually how big I wanted to go on this. Here, we're going to do this real quick. We're going to go... Yeah, save and quit. Single player. New world. Yeah, because that's the crater. Did I want to do the whole top of this? I kind of want to do the whole top of it, but I think I'm going to stick to just over here for now. Yeah, so this is what that area used to look like before I got a hold of it. You know, it had trees, a boatload of dirt. It was a very different area when I started. So where is it? Here's where the entrance is right now. You know, so like, big change. And not to mention what I'm going to do up here. Up here is probably not going to be as much of a change. I will probably carry the cliffs around a majority of this, which I'll probably end up doing in live streams. But, oh, actually, hold on. I'm going to show you the redstone to do the plates. So this is what you have to do. So actually, I have it. And you can only do 2. You cannot make it work with 3. So I had to change it to make it work with only 2. So to do it, you have to have redstone back here. And then underneath, you have to kind of loop the redstone around, have it come up here into the pillars on the side. And that way, when you step on one, it opens both. Hey, thank you. I can't sleep the can't sleep army. I actually kind of like that. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. But yeah, this is my test world so far, guys. You can see I've got so much in it. It was just because this was frustrating me and I couldn't figure it out in survival anymore. So I had to go and build it in creative to kind of jump my memory on how to do stuff. All right, so let's get on in here. So I think this is kind of where I wanted it to be. But how you doing? Right? Big test world. Lots of stuff. Yeah, I think I'm going to just bring it back to here. So let's do... Just for now, I'm going to set a couple pillars. So I kind of know my endpoint. And eventually, because if I clear this all out now, I'm going to look at it going, what am I doing with this? You know? But yeah, welcome to the channel, as I said. How you doing today? Having a good day? Good start, good end, good middle? You know? Because for me, it's 9 in the morning. For Liam, it's what, 1 o'clock? Yeah, so I think we're just going to kind of push over into this one. And kind of finish over here. We'll chippy chop these ones down. 220. I was close. Don't you mean 1420? No, I'm just messing. Yeah, so pretty much everything from this line this way. But I want to leave... I kind of want to leave them along the edge here. Well, actually, no, because I'm going to run that... I'm going to run those cliffs around here. So let's get rid of that as well. I also took all the trees down in here early on, too. So I probably shouldn't mind doing it, because I'm going to have to come in and redo this whole area anyway. I have no idea what I'm going to do over here. Hey, no worries, my dude. Enjoy the lurk. Yoink. Hey. Out of my way. Bonk. But yeah, I completely lost my train of thought. But yeah, honestly, it's just been a blast. I know we reminisced a whole ton about old worlds, old servers. When I started in Minecraft, it's been a fun time. But yeah, this project is going to end up being a lot larger than I initially thought. I was not thinking about it when I decided to start this. And this project has kind of just kept growing, which is the thing I like, you know, when it comes to, you know, doing a project in Minecraft. I like ones that kind of expand on their own and feel natural. So what I'm going to end up doing up top here mainly is I want to do a wheat field. And I'll probably have like a drainage style wheat farm. You know, the plant, and then when it grows, you just run water down it kind of deal. I think I'm going to start with that in here as well. I'll have a hand one on top just to kind of look good to decorate the area. We'll have a field for the horses to hang out in. We'll have, I think, a barn. I want to do a barn for storage. I think that'll look cool for over here. I'm going to be spreading out my storage as well. I like the concept of it. I started doing it on D's World Season 1, so Miraheim, several years back now. And I liked it because it got me to go to other areas of my world, rather than only ever go to the current project and my gigantic storage room. Don't get me wrong, I will definitely have bulk storage in some areas, and I'll have project storage on site. Because I'm going to design a project house, which I think will be fun. So when I go to a project, first thing I do is I build my house. I put my little storage in there, and I think it adds a little something something to the world. So, and then obviously at the end of the project, we empty the project house and either fit it in with the project or tear it down. I kind of want to leave it, but I don't know. It depends on if I do different project houses or if I just keep them all the same. This is actually going to be a hard area to transition over here. So, obviously, we're going to have the cliffs come around, but this is also supposed to be a meteor strike. That'll be fun to play with. I've never actually done something like that before. So, I think I'm probably going to build the cliffs first, and then kind of do my meteor strike afterwards. And adjust everything in relation to that. That'll be fun. Bonk. I also just noticed how loud my keyboard still is. Hopefully it's not too loud for all of you. I've put a muffle on to hopefully quiet down the keyboard clicky-clacky. I hate clicky-clacky keyboards, but they're really the only ones you can buy now. So I'm stuck with a clicky-clacky keyboard. I understand why people like them. I also support people who dislike them. But hey, it's how it goes, and I can't complain. I just think they're very loud at the microphone, and it's very hard to keep that sound from transmitting to the microphone. Our next step is going to actually be changing out dirt, and I should really try and enchant our shovel for that. Sprinting down the track. Close it up. And bonk. Sleep acquired. Alright. We're actually doing pretty good today. Good amount of wood gathered. So the only downside is I'm not getting any jungle wood. So my kind of road path idea through the swamp is made out of jungle and oak. And I'm going to have plenty of oak, which would be great. But I'm going to need me some jungle. And for that, I'll probably create like a little wood farm and kind of just grind through all of it. But for the moment, I don't have one. And there's no jungle over here for me to chop down. And I don't want to clear cut my jungle. I kind of like how full jungles are in Minecraft. It's kind of nice. It's useful. It looks cool. Yoink. Dropping down. Yeah, there's a lot of little changes I'm hoping to make in this area. What do we got over here? What's this one? Oh, I just chopped that. All right, good. We'll probably do... I don't know how I want to do over here yet. We'll take the ones down that are on the edge here, because the cliff's going to come around through here and wrap. So that'll be another spot to chop down some trees. I also really like the old birch. Like this, where it was kind of edged. I think it's way brighter now. And I'm going to see about changing my textures back to that in future. Like the bark is just... The bark edge is much better, in my opinion. I like it. I do like the outside change to birch, though. For the more modern versions of the game. Back in my day... No, just kidding. I'm old, but not that old. Hell, back in my day, we didn't even have internet. I was born before internet, but after Pokemon started. Actually, I think I was born the year Pokemon started in the US. If I remember correctly. I could be wrong. Trying to remember when all that happened. I might actually end up chopping down a bunch of these. I do like them. They're cool to have, but with all the other trees that were kind of attached to them, they look even more funky. Like this one here just has like one big branch off this side, and this side was the one that was like attached to other trees. We'll see. Where are we at? Ah, good. We're back to our marker. Yeah, I end up getting distracted on projects like this. Running around, making new plans, checking stuff out. Collecting apples. Oop, I missed a log. But I also cannot wait to see just how the world evolves over the playthrough on this. So obviously we're going to start off. You've got way less block options. Blocks that you can only find, you can't craft. And then as the game goes on, more and more becomes available. And I think seeing the evolution over time, because obviously I've built cliffs before. And we used a bunch of different blocks in it. But now I literally have stone and cobblestone and gravel. And that's really it for like the stone blocks like that. Yeah, I can go and collect cracked stone brick and mossy stone brick, and I can craft regular stone brick. Because that first one was only craftable at this point, and the rest you could only get from the end fortress, the end ruins, to find the portal. I actually don't remember what you call it. I think it's not an end fortress. I think we just called it that though, because it held the portal to the end. You know? And honestly, for this one, I kind of want to like dig it out in like an archaeological dig kind of deal. I know there is one other one usually in the world, so maybe if I find that in future, I can use that one as my archaeological dig. I also might use it for sand duping early on. So that's one of the other things I'm doing, is like messing around with some of the exploits early on. You know, I'm not going to do straight up like, you know, item duplication for, you know, different items, but like checking out sand duplication would be kind of cool. You okay, Blue? Are you stretching? Okay. Sorry, it's my dog. She just climbed down off the chair. She's making a bunch of noise. And now she's back on the chair. I think she just wanted to stretch. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I want to check out that kind of stuff. You know, I'm not going to go wild with it. You know, because I think sand duplication's honestly a lot of work. But I still want to check it out because I've never done anything with it. And kind of see, you know, what it was like back then. I'm definitely going to be making a large amount of bows that have mending, and there's another enchantment that I'm drawing a blank on. That pretty much gives you, you know, you just carry around one arrow and it's infinite. Affinity. Yeah. That's what it was called. Affinity. Because that was changed. The next, I think it was the next update after it was added, it made it so you could only have one or the other. And I think there's a couple other enchantments like that that later on get made so that you can't have them together. So I definitely want to play around with some of those, get some of those made up for future. But just kind of go from there, you know? Pull stuff from the updates and save them forever. I honestly don't even remember where spawn is. I know I'm not close to it anymore, but I genuinely do not remember where spawn was. I know it was like roughly that-ish way. Maybe we'll go visit someday. I know there's a village over near there, so. Some great places to visit. No, that's not what I asked. Oh, play Bedrock Edition. Nice. How's that? I've actually never played Bedrock. Nothing against it. I've just been on Java my whole life. So. But yeah, what do you think of it? The only thing I'm jealous of is you guys have movable tile entities. So you can move... not tile entities. But you guys can move... what's it called? Like chests and stuff with pistons. Which is really cool. And I'm kind of annoyed that they haven't added that to Java. And that's really the only change that I know of that I would like in Java. You know? But, yeah, that's cool, though. Have you ever played Java before, or has it really just been Bedrock for you? Because I know Windows was... When Microsoft took over, they were pushing Bedrock hard. Which I understand, you know? But I will probably be Java for life. Yoink. Unless they get, like, full parity, you know what I mean? But that'll never happen. Because the stuff that only works in Java because of the way a bunch of the coding's done. So, like, it'd be really hard to change it for that. Looking. I don't see any more logs. Chippity chopped all the way down. Just Bedrock. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, because it's only on the consoles. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I started off on Java Edition on the PlayStation 4. Yeah, I want to say PlayStation 4. Yeah, I need to make a new chest. Bonk, 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 bonk. Let's just pull all of this out of here, because this was all from today, roughly. There we go. That's an hour of tree chopping in a box. Yeah, I've never played on the Switch. I'm trying to think. I've played Stardew Valley on the Switch, because I bought a Switch, and I think I bought like 3 games for it. And it was Assassin's Creed, Stardew Valley, and people were trying to get me to play Animal Crossing. And I got it, and I started playing it just before I moved, because I had packed up all my stuff. And then my closing got pushed back, so like the only gaming I had was my Switch. Oh, hold on. So the only gaming I had was my Switch, so I bought Animal Crossing because everyone was like, you gotta get it and play it, and I'm like, fine, I'll try it. And I played it for like 2 hours, and then my Switch died and my charger was packed away, so I haven't played it since. Hey, welcome back, Liam. Alright, what time is it? 9:30? Alright. Yeah. Oh, it looks so naked now. Alright, we're definitely gonna have to definitely gonna have to add stuff in, because it looks so weird back there now. I think once we start getting the secondary cliffs in, and you know, the buildings and the trees and stuff back in, I think it's gonna look fantastic. I also don't entirely like these stairs, so we're definitely gonna change them. I've also almost burned through the entirety of my diamond axe, and it makes me sad. 30 levels and 3 diamonds. And the annoying part is, my pickaxe is Silk Touch, not Fortune. No, they have slabs and stairs. It's just, I wanted to make it feel somewhat natural. To like the way a horse would walk up. And slabs works better. And these are the only slabs of like this style. They don't have stone slabs, and cobblestone just didn't look as nice, so I did this, and it works for now. You know, I may even change this, because like I wanted it to kind of come in and then like turn up, and like I don't think it's as gradual of a turn as I would have liked. Like, I probably should have had it come out more over here. But then we'd be stuck in all this, and I was just like, eh. Oh, yeah, no, literally, all we have is this. That's it. 1.6.4, stone block. That's it. This is considered a smooth stone slab. Yeah. But honestly, I think it looks good in what it is, because, like, we only have 4 trees. We only have, you know, dirt and grass. We don't have coarse dirt, you know, any of that, which I really wanted to use coarse dirt down here, but I ended up having to use sand, sand and gravel, because I wanted to do gravel and coarse dirt, but you can't get or craft coarse dirt yet. It doesn't exist. So I'm working with what I got, and honestly, I'm really enjoying it, you know. Oh, wait until you guys see when I do the world tour of my original starter world. So this seed is that world, but World Gen was done differently between console and PC. So I'm trying to remember. I think the zombie spawner's under that. You know, but yeah, so obviously, sorry, got distracted. There's a bunch of different changes, you know, that you got to kind of work with, and the such, so. I think next, do I want to do cliffs, or do I want to do dirt removal? I think I'm going to do dirt removal. Cliffs would be easier. you know, I'm gonna finish up that section over there. So let me finish chopping the trees over there, and we're gonna start dirt over there. Yeah. Nah. It's more of, I don't want to do dirt removal because I have an unenchanted shovel. And that's really it. I went through like 6 or 7 iron shovels clearing the dirt out of here. Because I didn't want to waste diamonds, and I was so into the project, I didn't want to go like AFK to kill spiders. You know, I didn't want to go spider grind for XP. So I did that instead. Now let's pop a few of these. Yeah, this guy's gonna have to come down. He's literally like on the wall. Here at the wall with 2 E's. Random movie quotes are stuck in my noggin. I don't see any others. Dive, dive, dive. Alright, we got that one. Then I gotta get this one. Yeah, you have to chop down all the trees so far ahead of time. I thought that was just a weird monster. It was just a squid. You have to chop down a bunch of this stuff ahead of time because leaf decay takes so long. And that's always been a thing, you know. I get that. It's always been a thing, but it drives me nuts sometimes. Right? And the worst part is, like, I don't even actually... Oh, they do drop ink. Okay, I was going to say, I don't even think they drop ink yet, but they do. I just don't think ink has a use in any way, shape, or form. Can you... You might... I think you can use it for dyeing. So I'm definitely going to end up building a squid farm, because I have a little desert off over that way. And I think there's a river in it. So that'll be useful, especially for the changes to it in future. But honestly, there's going to be farms I'm going to build now. And then, you know, like 3 versions from now will be obsolete. And I'll have to replace them. I'll probably still keep the old farm set up because it'll be cool to have. But I know there's going to be so many changes that are going to just make certain things obsolete. And I don't want to have, like, you know, a singular gigantic... So, like, sugarcane, for example. I don't want to just have one gigantic sugarcane farm that I hop over to, I AFK at, you know, twice a year, and just kind of only go back when I need stock, you know? I want to make, you know, multiple farms, so, like, in an area. So, like, if I'm going to work on a larger project like this, I'm going to put, you know, a couple little farms over here. You know, I'll put a chicken cooker farm. I'll put a sugarcane farm, you know, kind of deal. So that way, while I'm working in areas, stuff is producing. But, like, I'm not going to build giant ones. You know, I might just put 4 pieces of sugarcane, 4 pistons, and some, brain function, some hoppers, you know, and that kind of stuff. And just, end of the project, just tear it out. You know, I'll make some bigger ones in my more common areas and kind of go from there. But I think a majority of the time, that's how I'm going to do it. And that makes it so there's more reason to go to different places in the world. Ah, no. I hope that keeps him from despawning. So I have a couple of funky sheep in this world, and I'm trying my hardest to keep them. And if I had noticed that sheep before, I would not have touched that tree. Because I have one that's like on a lily pad. I've shown them in the first or second episode on this series, I'm trying to remember, when I was just talking about like some of the weirdness of early Minecraft. He's off over there, and he's on the edge of a lily pad and keeps dropping in the water and then pops back up and then drops in the water and pops back up. So I've killed all of the other sheep in the area so they can't walk over into the water and knock them free, you know. It's Island Dwellers Squid. That's funny. But yeah, that's just, there's so many little quirks going on. Like there was another one where there was like a zombie piglin that was just like dropping off the edge of a cliff over and over and over and over and over again, which I thought was also hilariously funny. All right, let's move those up. And let's get ourselves some stone, which I'm actually running low on. Yeah. I think this is the majority of my stone. I think once I go mining soon, I'll get more. But yeah, most of it was from, you know, a section of the mound over here. I grabbed a bunch of that. But I have a Silk Touch pick, so I've been able to get more. Whee. Oh, good stretching. Ow. Alright, let's get this one done. Alright, we're going to bring this one back in a little bit. What are you doing back there, Huffy, huh? Oh, piece, stone there, stone there, stone there. 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 Bonk. And this is the other way I've been getting stone, because when you cut it back, you gotta fill it with dirt. Yoink. And that's pretty much my process, and we're gonna do that a little bit of time. We're gonna wrap it around this edge here. But I kind of gotta see... Oh, it's getting to night, so we'll go sleep real quick. Yeah, we're gonna cut a little bit of that little peninsula there out. I don't know how big something has to be considered a peninsula. You know? Because it does stick out. Like, same thing. How big do islands have to be considered an archipelago? You know, if I just go put, like, 18 one-block, you know, 2x2 islands out there, are they considered an archipelago? Or do they have to be a certain size to be considered an island? So for the moment, because I don't actually know how I want to do this arch. I talked about it at the end of the last episode. This is going to just be like a little cave that comes out. And I don't actually know what I want to do with it. So we're just going to start right here. Kind of just continue on out. Oh, come on, game. I want to place my block. I think that's a good start. I am definitely going to need more dirt. I got to go grab dirt. Bonk, bonk. But yeah, what's something from earlier versions of Minecraft that you guys have played that got changed or removed that you really liked? You know what? I can leave this. It'll just kind of blend in real well. I actually kind of like that. Whoop. Just gonna remove that one. I am actually very much running out of food because I haven't been over there in my little farm. Yeah. You love the combat update? I do too. And a bunch of people hated the combat changes. And I actually think... So, like, as somebody who really enjoyed, you know, when it first happened, you know, for somebody who really enjoyed, like, I'm forgetting what it's called. The hardcore game. Um, like the ultra hardcore battles. I'm drawing a blank on what the heck it was called. Brain no function. But yeah, like when they changed to that style, it made the combat seem trickier, and it made it, you know, you couldn't just run it. UHCs, yeah, that's what it was. Cause so you couldn't just go in and like spam hit people anymore, you know, and it actually made a difference. I like that. Don't get me wrong, I do love being able to just run up to mobs and be like bah, 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 right now, but you know, hopefully I don't get too used to it. But for the, you know, for the casual player, I could understand not liking that change. But for a majority of the players, I think that it is a much, much better combat system. I wish we had more combat enchantments, you know, especially because, like, don't get me wrong, I don't do PvP anymore. You know what I mean? I'm an old man. My reaction times aren't the best, so we don't do much PvP in anymore. But sorry, I was talking to my dog. Yeah, obviously I don't do much in the way of PvP anymore, but it's always been a fun time. I've always liked it. Even now, like if somebody was like, "Hey, we're gonna do a UHC," I'd probably be in. You know, I know UHCs aren't the thing anymore. You know, it's longer form, kind of story-based stuff like Last Life and all of its variations. And I get it and I respect it. I've got nothing against it. You know, I miss UHCs. Just go in, beat the bag out of each other until you're the last one standing. You know? And the other thing, one of the things I miss the most about servers is ABBA. You know? And in all the servers I've been watching lately, I haven't seen a single ABBA. And I've watched like, I'm watching like 4 or 5 different new servers right now. Not a single one is like, yeah, let's do ABBA. And I'm like, does that make me an old man? You know, am I old man Minecraft now, where I like ABBAs and UHCs and all that? You know, am I that SpongeBob meme where they're just like, we keep telling you, old man? Like, is that me? I'm old Papa Minecraft at this point. And I don't mind, you know? Alright, I will do that. I actually found one name tag so far. And speaking of names, we actually still need a name for our horse. Nobody's given us a good name yet. I've gotten Sea Biscuit, as in C dash biscuit. So that's all we've got so far. Biscuit is definitely spelled wrong, but maybe. I don't know. Biscuit seems like it's spelled wrong. But like that's the only name recommendation we have so far. Not that it's a bad name. I just would like options. So if you've got any options or ideas, let us know. Bonk. What color is my horse? Right over here. Let's hop over here. Yeah, because I know... Actually, do pink sheeps exist in 1.6? I don't think pink sheeps exist in 1.6. I think brown was the rare sheep at the time. This is our horse. Aren't you a good horse? Horsey horse. It's a great jumper, too. It's got decent speed. Decent hearts. It's an above average horse. You know. Its speed is pretty decent. Its hearts are not max, but above, you know, in that 3/4 range. So those are useful. Speed is pretty good. It's 12 seconds over 100 blocks. Something like that. Seems too uniform. We gotta change it up. There we go. Bonk. Brownie. I like it. Call it dinner. I'll add them to the list and I'll keep them in mind. Alright, so this one, I think I'm gonna... bring this one out a little. So what I've been trying to do is like around this point here and keep the top, because obviously it's going to kick back in and that'll give me space, a little bit more space around the edges to kind of, you know, play around with it and do more work. So let's kind of keep that going. Bring it out, bring it back, bring it over, bring it back, bring it over, bring it over, bring it out. What I gotta do afterwards, because I didn't feel like using the dirt to do this part, is chop all my stone out. Yeah, the before and after on all of this is gonna be wild. But yeah, the only other horse I've found is the baby that was with that horse, so I have to go over, grow it, and transport it at some point. My girlfriend was very mad at me that I left the baby horse alone. I was kind of sad. I was, actually, I think I even talked about it in the video. I tagged its location so I could find it in the future. Like, definitely before I update the world, we're going to go get that horse. I also don't want to torch the place up because I know I'm going to have to go through and remove all the torches in the future. So I'm really just doing decorative lighting. Unless there's areas where I'm like, hey, I 100% need all the lighting here. So we're going to bring this one forward a bunch. A bonk, a bonk. And then over. A bonk, a bonk. A bonk. A bonk. A bonk. And then... a bonk, a bonk. I'm gonna chippy chop more trees down because I forgot about them. Chop. Oh, Liam, because I know you had pointed it out. How does the keyboard sound now? Does it seem more muffled? Or does it sound exactly the same? Oh, I get you, yeah. Yeah, because I do have a muffle kind of blocking it, but like it's really hard to get rid of this sound. And it drives me nuts. I hate hearing it, but I can't find a keyboard that's like at least halfway decent. That's not one of these clacky boards. Because everybody wants clacky mechanical keys nowadays. And as I said, I respect it, to each their own, but like, I don't want them. I want a nice whisper silent keyboard. So if anybody has a recommendation for a nice whisper silent keyboard, let me know. there. You know, let's just go straight down. I like it. Put you there, put you there, put you there, put you there, there. Bonk, bonk. Yeah. And honestly, I might just bust out my old keyboard. It's only the W key that's broken. I can just shift all the controls over to like ESDF, you know, rather than WASD. Ooh, I gotta do that because it comes all the way down. I do like this though. It is adding so much more to this area. Nice cliffage. Ooh, hold on, my boss is calling me. 1 second, guys. Alright, I'm back. My boss was calling me and then he forgot that I had the day off, so he hung up. And then texted me, sorry, I forgot you were off. I like my boss. You know? Think I'm gonna head out, see you later. No worries, my dude. I'm probably wrapping up soon here as well. I should probably be productive with my day. So I think I'm gonna finish out this stretch and then probably call it myself. But yeah, I look forward to seeing what else you got going on. Make some videos. But yeah, thank you for stopping in, my dude. Bonk. Yeah, but he hung up and was like, hey, dude, sorry, didn't mean to call you on your day off. Have fun, bye. So I was like, hey. But not, because, like, I've worked for a lot of bosses over my years, and some of them are not very good people. So, but my boss is good. I like him. I respect him too. But he does a good job. I actually really like this corner. That's a nice corner. Except the rest of it feels kind of boring. Let's get some dirt, some bits, some bops, and some bobs. No, we're going to go right there, just like that. Because I want to keep that random piece of dirt right there. I think it adds. It probably doesn't, but in my mind it does. What do you do when you don't make videos? I am a territory manager. So I pretty much go around checking in on clients for the stores that I work with and making sure everything's all set, there's no issues. That kind of deal there. So it's pretty much what I do. It's the easiest way to describe it. I'm the head of the complaints department. I am the fixer. You know, it's the best ways to try and describe it. You know, if there's a problem, I go in, make sure it gets solved. And we kind of go from there. But yeah, I've been with my company for 10 years now. It's been, honestly, it hasn't been bad. You know, it's been honestly the I'm not gonna say the best company I've worked for, but one of the better companies I've worked for. Just some of the stuff that we used to get from the old companies I'd worked for were so much better. So like, I used to work for Radio Shack. Some of you may not even know what that is. They've been out of business for like 10 years now. We'd get our birthdays paid off. You know, you wouldn't work on your birthday, you'd get it paid and you didn't have to work. you know, that kind of stuff. So I liked it. You know, that was good. There were a lot of bad things about that company that I didn't like. And then, you know, like Brookstone was probably the best paying job I had. They paid their people real well. I did like that dirt, but I don't anymore. I think I'm going to do it this way. Yeah, we'll do it like that. But now I work for a different company. And as I said, I enjoy working for them. You know, they're the reason I was able to buy this house, you know, because of a bunch of programs that the company offers that allowed me to honestly get a leg up in relation to a lot of different things. And, you know, they pay pretty fair. I'm not going to say they're top dollar, you know what I mean? For my job, you don't need a degree, you know, so I don't have any college debt. So, but at the same time, like, this is a rough time to be in my job though, because we get paid on growth. Growth doesn't happen in this current situation. So that part's kind of actually, you know what? I'm going to keep that right here. I'm going to get rid of this. Yeah. So, but yeah, what about you? Do you work? Are you too young to work? Do you not work? I think the longest I've gone without a job was actually when I first started playing Minecraft. I just quit my job. It was the winter of 2015. And I was just clearing snow for people because it's just kind of how it went. There was such a bad winter up here. Well, I shouldn't say up here, because I live in a different state than I was living in then. Both physically, mentally, and emotionally. Oh, that was funny. Sorry. But yeah, that was the whole thing. But yeah, then I ended up, you know, I was doing great. I had a bunch of money saved up, and I was, you know, kind of doing that. And then I totaled my car in a snowstorm. And took all the money I just made from shoveling snow for people and bought a new car. So that was an exciting time. There we go. Yeah, so. But yeah. I think I took, what was that? I think I didn't work half of February, all of March, and all of April. Or half of April. So I think I got a grand total of 2 months off. Which the next closest time was probably 4 years ago, when I almost died. But we're not gonna get too much into that one. That was a crazy time for me. I got very sick. Very, very sick. But I got like a 5 weeks off of work from that one. So. But yeah. All I wanted when I was younger was to get a job, because that's what they want you to do, so that I could have money, so that I could buy things. And now all I want is not things and not a job. Well, actually, I take that back. I still like things and money, you know? But, you know, you get to a point. But as I said, I don't actually hate my job, so I don't worry about it too much. You know, I actually kind of like my job. Change that out. Oop, too far over. Bonk. But yeah, I met up with some high school friends beginning of this month. And like, obviously when you're, you know, rehashing the old days, you know, we're just talking about how much easier it was when none of us worked. We didn't have responsibilities. You know, we all went to high school every day, did our work, hung out, had a good time. to bring this... Because I want to bring this over to there, but keep it at this height. So here, we're going to remove this bottom layer, 100%. I know, I said I was going to do that other section, and then I was done, then I kind of got distracted by this. Uh-oh, the diesel engine's starting up behind me. My dog's snores are getting louder. You can tell her, like, mouth is sitting in a specific way. See, these ones here where it's only, like, 2 deep, they look kind of boring. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I just wanted it to come all the way over to here, because then it makes sense as to why the corral entrance is over here, you know? Because, like, you could just dig through the dirt and change it. But if you've got cliffs on each side, you really can't. So let's change this one up a little. Bonk and bonk. My dog's name is Blue, because she's got one blue eye and one brown eye. Bonk. Yeah, if you want to see... Actually, do I have pictures of her on here? Yeah, if you go to... on Instagram, if you check out D's Woodsmithing, DS Woodsmithing, you'll find me on there. I have a gaming one as well. I just don't have any posts of her on there. But that one's Defense041, just like my name. So if you want to check out that. As I said, I know I have pictures of her on that, the D's Woodsmithing profile. But I don't think I do on the gaming one, because I only just recently started using that one again. Oop, no, wrong way. But yeah, she's a little, we think she's a terrier collie mix. She's definitely got something else in her. We don't know for sure, but that's pretty much what we're looking at. Yeah, so see, now it makes sense as to why you'd have the entrance here, because it's all stone and stuff, and then this was just open. So, but yeah, she just turned 3 last month. So, and I got her in November. Yeah, November from a shelter. Yeah. She came running out of the back room, grabbed a toy, and came running on over to me, stealing me heart. So, I took her home. Now she hangs out with us all day. Spends a lot of time sleeping on the couch, you know. Alright, this is actually coming along pretty well right here. And I think I want to do... I hate that middle click isn't the way it is in the future. Yeah, this looks so much better. Obviously, we're going to have to clean up this backside. I just don't know for sure what I'm doing over here yet, so... Obviously, that's probably just going to go straight down to the water. I am probably going to have to chop down this tree, which is annoying because it's what inspired the name for this whole area. You know? And it makes me sad, which is Lone Tree Corral. But it makes me very sad. I also kind of want to put stone brick slabs across the top of that. I don't know. I'll have to envision it later. I'm very happy with it. This looks so much better. Yeah, and then we can go through. Close off our ceiling, because this one's just going to be a pass-through. It's just literally going to go straight through here, so... I think we're actually just going to do that just like this. And then we'll clean up our edges here. There. What does it feel like? Boo. I will have to be boring about it. Well, actually, no. If I bring that all the way down... Nah, I kind of like it like that. Yoink. But what about you? Do you have a dog or a cat or any other animal? Actually, that works so much better. I might... do I want to make it bigger across the back? It just seems so small off the back here. That one's done. I'll go like that. And then this guy here and this guy here are going to need some change. Oh, actually, that works. We'll just do it like that. Blueberry waffle, what you doing? Are you sleeping? I do love having a dog, though. She's just so relaxed. You know, don't get me wrong. She can be a crazy demon at different points, but she is very relaxed. I have a cat and 3 hermit crabs. Oh, nice. Cat is Jackson. Her crab's name is Spider-Man, Simba, and Sunshine. I like that. I used to have hermit crabs when I was a kid. Oh, now that I have space. I've always wanted to get them again. You know, because like when we were younger, we had them. But then like one of our cats knocked we had like the little plastic, like, you know, like 1 or 2 gallon, you know, homes that they lived in. And our cat ended up knocking them over because the cat wanted the heat. Because that area was always warmer. So yeah, that didn't go well. But yeah, now I'm trying to think. I was like, I think I could, if I wanted to, do hermit crabs now. I'm trying to think. That's cool, though. I like the names. How long have you had them? Yoink. Yeah, we've always grown up with animals in my house. We had, you know, we've had the dogs. We've had cats. We had ducks at one point. That was actually kind of fun. We've had geese. Actually, no, we didn't have geese. What the hell have we had aside from that? Chickens, turkeys, stuff like that. I got the hermit crab this... Oh, nice! So it's pretty recent. That's cool. Yoink. Let's do that, and then we're gonna put you there. You there. Oh, no, you go there. Put you there and there, and then we're gonna go you, you, and you. How do we feel about that? that one there, that one there. And I kind of want to kick a couple of these back. So this one will actually stay. That one will go down. And then these will become dirt. And there we go. Oh, that one needs to become stone. I'm going to do it this way, and then I'm going to kick this guy back. Nope, I can't do it there. All right, it's got to be that one. Just makes it look somewhat better. You know? All right, so we're clear through there. And that does look... I can keep the tree. I may take pictures and measurements and just rebuild that tree up on top. Because as I said, this is the tree that inspired this whole name. The, you know, the tree in the middle. I don't know. All right, let's take a look from over here. We got to go all the way around, though, so. Give us a moment. Bonk. Yeah, we did a good amount of work today. Got a bunch of trees down. Created some new bits. Come on. There we go. Yep. I think it looks good. I'm happy with it. Big sweeping change. And now it's... the bottom layer is all closed in. I've got to do the outside over there. But that'll be easy. And then we're pretty good up to... I think roughly there. And then obviously we'll have to do the higher areas as we continue on. And kind of branch out. But yeah, I think this is going to turn and then come up through here. And then we'll have it kind of in the middle. And then we'll have the pathways and stuff meander out from there. We'll keep the big trees in as many places as we can. All in all, I think my next several streams are probably going to be us just like updating that kind of stuff here. Which I'm very happy about. I think we're going to continue to work with it. It's going to be a good time. But I also think that's where we're going to wrap up for today. Because I have stuff I got to go do. Sadly. I also want to redo this tree. I'm not 100% happy with it. Needs more bush. So I think I'm going to just fill out the whole top. I've never been good at building trees. It's been my most difficult thing to learn in this game so far. But yeah, as I was saying, we're going to wrap it up here. So as always, I want to thank you for stopping in. I hope you did enjoy. And I hope you all have a nice night, day, morning, evening, or whatever it is. Or wherever you are. This has been Defense. I hope to see you again soon. Peace.